Hi, I'm Aaron Spence, Superintendent of Virginia Beach City Public Schools, and I want to thank you for joining me again in what is the next in an ongoing series of videos that are intended to keep you informed about the work of our school division during this extended closure. So first, let me welcome you all back from spring break. I do sincerely hope this was a chance for everyone to breathe and to recharge and to get grounded just a little bit. I know it was for me and for my family. As I mentioned in a previous video, April is the month of the military child, and as a part of that, tomorrow is Purple Up Day. So make sure to show your support for our military families by wearing purple. And we'd love to see your pictures on our social media channels. Now, speaking of our military families, I also want to offer my congratulations to the winners of this year's Art of Being a Military Child competition. This is an annual event that's open to all VB school students in grades K through 12, and it features the artistic expressions of being a military child. Now, while we would normally celebrate and review this gallery of art at Lynn Haven Mall during this month of the military child, for obvious reasons, we're going to have to enjoy the work of these talented students online this year. So we've posted a video of all of the winning artwork on our website at vbschools.com, and I encourage everyone to take a look at all of these remarkable entries. Also, as a reminder, with spring break behind us, we are back on our normal schedule related to meal distribution. Students can get meals at any of the 41 school or community locations that are listed on our website. Now what I'd like to do is address one of the topics I've gotten questions about since the emergency learning plan was rolled out a couple of weeks ago, and that is why we chose not to grade assignments for credit moving into the fourth marking period. I've heard, of course, many parents and teachers breathe a sigh of relief with this news, but I've also had some other folks asking me why we would choose to go down this road. So first and foremost, let me state again that this new emergency learning plan is not meant to replace the instruction that students receive when they are in a physical classroom. I think we all understand that's simply not possible. This is not online learning or virtual learning, and it's not our new normal. So the plan that we've created is intended to reflect the reality that nothing about this situation is normal. In fact, what we're doing is responding and dealing with an emergency, and these are different times and they require different thinking. So of course, one of the things we're thinking differently about is grading, and when coming to this decision, we challenged ourselves to really answer some crucial questions. Things like, do all students have access to appropriate learning devices? Do all students have access to the internet? Do all students have a home environment that is supportive and conducive to learning? Can our school division successfully support the needs of all learners, including students with individual education programs or IEPs, students with a 504 plan, our English language learners, and others who might need accommodations like students in our Title I schools or students who receive pull-out instruction like PALS instruction? Have our educators participated in enough professional learning opportunities that they can seamlessly transition to teaching online? And have all students had enough prior exposure to blended or online learning to be successful? So when we couldn't answer yes to all of those questions, it became clear that grading during this time period was really not going to be an option. Why? Because grading is supposed to be a reflection of teaching and of the learning that occurs as a result, and not of circumstances that are beyond the student's control. So again, it's important to recognize that our VBCPS emergency learning plan was created to support students without penalizing them because of this coronavirus situation. And truly, without the equalizing force of our schools and dedicated time in our classrooms and daily access to all of the services that a school and our school division has to offer, we would be grading students based on their access to technology and the internet, and their access to food and housing and a stable home environment, and on their ableism or the language that they speak, but we would not necessarily be grading them on their ability to learn, and that's not something that I'm willing to do. We also know that our teachers are navigating fairly uncharted territory right now too, and many of them are spending days not only providing an education for their students, but also for their own children at home like many of us. During this time of crisis where the school experience has changed significantly for everyone involved, including our teachers, adding the additional stressor of grading would really fail to acknowledge this reality. It's also important to note that for reasons related to equity, the Virginia Department of Education recommends that teachers do not grade student work completed during this period of distance learning. So that said, has been stated in the plan and in all of our communications to our staff and our parents and our students. Students are still expected to continue to submit work as evidence of learning in order to be promoted to the next grade level and in order to receive credit for the courses they're taking. In our plan, we've also emphasized the importance of feedback from teachers and ongoing communication with students and with families. And we know that this feedback matters. So the truth is that our buildings may be closed, but we do know learning will continue. And all you need to do to see examples of that every day is to follow our hashtag, VBAlwaysLearning. So to learn more about what I've mentioned and about our emergency learning plan in general, I would remind you to visit the school division's website at www.vbschools.com/ELP. Now, one of the things that I like to do during these videos is to answer questions that we've gotten from our desk side forum. So I have a few of those today. The first question is, the word emergency can have a fearful connotation, especially with children. So why was the name Emergency Learning Plan chosen? Well, we chose the name Emergency Learning Plan specifically, as I mentioned earlier, to help folks understand that this is dealing with an emergency, that this is, we are not trying to convey that this is normal, that this is replacing instruction that would happen if our schools are open, that in fact we are dealing with something that is a national emergency and that is different than what we might otherwise be able to offer. Even with online learning experiences that we offer at other times, well-planned online learning experiences are different from instruction that can be offered during an emergency and in response to a crisis or a disaster. Our primary objective in these circumstances is not to recreate a robust instruction system, but rather to provide temporary access to instructional supports in a manner that's reliable and equitable and obtainable. And so again, the name emergency was thoughtfully chosen to convey that this is different. The next question I got was, when can we expect a decision about graduation? So as I've said a number of times, we remain fully committed to honoring the hard work of our graduating seniors with a ceremony, and we are looking at several options to do this in both a memorable and a safe way, either virtually or in person. Our current thinking has us exploring possibilities for ceremonies later in the summer. Though nothing is official, though, as the planning pieces come into sharper focus, as we begin to understand more clearly the timeline for the reopening of our state, we will ask the community for feedback on possible options, so stay tuned. And then the last question I have here is, are the school tracks closed, or can we still run and exercise on them? And what I would say is, as of today, our grounds are still available for appropriate fitness and recreation that comply with the governor's orders. I will note that there are some schools that are undergoing improvement projects, and that may require us to close those facilities until those are done. And I will also note that if we see a rise in vandalism, and we are concerned about that because we've seen a little bit of that, if we see a rise in vandalism, that we may have to close our school facilities because, again, we don't have coaches and other people on site the way we would in normal circumstances. So we'd ask our community to help us. If you want to use these facilities, please take care of them. And please help monitor what's going on those facilities. And if you have a concern, remember that there is a help desk number here in Virginia Beach that you can call, 263-1111, and share those concerns with us. So again, I appreciate the questions that we're getting. Keep those coming. I appreciate so much everything that everybody is doing to make this work during this extended closure. That's it for me. So stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.